Ever felt that, that sudden surge of anger you just can't explain? Or maybe a quiet resentment that you push way, way down because it doesn't feel nice? Well, today we're going to dive into a concept that might just hold the key to all those hidden parts of ourselves, the shadow self. It's the part we're taught to hide, but as we're about to see, it could be our absolute greatest guide to a more authentic life. Wow. That line really hits home, doesn't it? We all have that side of ourselves we keep locked away, sometimes even from ourselves. It's built from all the things we were told as kids were unacceptable. But what are we so afraid of showing? Let's really dig into that. So, what is this shadow self really? Well, it's basically the collection of all our disowned parts. It's that rage that just boils over when someone cuts you off in traffic, the envy that simmers when a friend gets something you really want, and that nagging feeling that you're just so tired of pretending to be okay. These are the feelings that society, maybe our families, taught us we had to shove down to be seen as good. Now, here's the thing, and this is so crucial. We can try to ignore our shadow, but it's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can push it down for a little while, sure, smile through the strain, but sooner or later it's going to burst back up, and usually with way more force than before. Denying it doesn't make it go away, it just makes it stronger. And what's so interesting is that the shadow doesn't always show up like some big, dramatic monster. Not at all. More often, it's in these quiet, little, everyday moments. Just look at these examples. That flash of irritation you just quickly dismiss, that sudden, powerful urge to just walk away from a conversation, a sharp pang of envy that you feel ashamed of, or that quiet resentment that just hangs around after a disagreement. They might seem small, but these are the breadcrumbs, They lead right to your shadow. The next time you feel one, don't just brush it off. Get curious. And that's the wild part about the shadow. It is incredibly patient. It can wait for years, even decades, for you to finally acknowledge it. But the longer we ignore it, the more it demands our attention. It just gets heavier and heavier in the quiet corners of our lives until we literally have no choice but to listen. But this is where we flip the script. This is the big turning point. What if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if, instead of seeing our shadow as this enemy we have to defeat, we started seeing it as a friend, as a guide that can lead us to a deeper, more honest understanding of who we really are? And this just illustrates that shift perfectly. We're so quick to judge our so-called negative emotions, right? We label them as a personal failure, a source of shame, but what if we saw them as messengers? What if that anger wasn't a flaw, but a signal telling you that a boundary has been crossed? What if that grief was actually showing you what you truly deeply value? Because your shadow, it's like a personal GPS, pointing you directly to the areas of your life that need your attention. It shows you exactly where you've compromised your truth, where you've been playing small, and where you've silenced your own voice just to keep the peace. It's revealing the parts of yourself you had to abandon just to survive. Okay, so this is the exciting part. If the shadow is our guide, how do we actually start listening? How can we begin to befriend this part of ourselves and unlock its hidden gifts without, letting it take over? Let's get practical. Before we dive in, let's just sit with this fear for a second, because it's real. I get it. The idea of truly feeling our deepest anger or sadness can be absolutely terrifying. It's totally natural to feel scared when you're about to venture into the unknown. But remember, you're stronger than you think, and this process is about listening, not losing control. So here's a really simple, safe practice you can try. The next time a difficult emotion comes up, just sit with it. That's step one. Don't judge it, don't try to analyze it or change it. Just let it be. Give it space, let it rise, and just breathe. This isn't about acting on the feeling, it's just about acknowledging that it's there. And why would you do this? It might sound kind of backwards, but our greatest pain can be our greatest teacher. When we have the courage to stop fighting and finally face our shadow, we begin to reclaim all the power and energy we've been using to suppress it. You start to tap into this whole new well of strength. These are the gifts your shadow brings to the table. So think about it. That anger? It isn't a moral failing, it's a signal. What was it trying to tell you last time you felt it? That grief isn't a weakness, it's a map. What did it reveal about what's truly important to you? And your resentment? It's evidence of a life that's been constrained. Where are you holding yourself back? And this newfound clarity, it's a total game changer. Once you see the truth of what your shadow is showing you, something just ignites. It might give you the courage to finally speak your mind in that difficult conversation or to set a boundary you've been afraid to set for years. It's a reclamation of your own power. Ah, this quote. It really resonates. Let's be real for a second. This work isn't some quick fix for instant happiness. It is messy, it can be raw and really uncomfortable, but it's so worth it. It's about trading a life of quiet numbness for a life of messy, beautiful, authentic aliveness. Now, as we start to wrap up, I just want to leave you with a few questions to think about as you continue on your own journey. This is where the real work begins, and it's just for you. So, let's start right here. Just take a deep breath and ask yourself, what emotions have I been taught to suppress? Anger, jealousy, sadness? There's no right or wrong answer. Don't judge whatever comes up. Just listen and let your own answers come to you. Oof, this can be a tough one to answer, but it's so important. Think about a recent situation where you felt like you had to hold back, make yourself smaller or quiet your own needs. What would have happened if you had just allowed yourself to be fully you in that moment? And finally, this is the question that can change everything. It's not about what you could get rid of, but what you could get back. What if you stopped seeing your shadow as a burden and started seeing it as a gift? What could you reclaim? Your voice, your boundaries, your creative energy, your truest self? The possibilities, they're endless. And that is the real promise of this journey,